Today I finally make the video that people have been asking for a long time. I haven't made it because I wasn't involved in that part of the sport. Today is lever gun silhouette. So welcome back to the Garage of Doom. I have coffee. I have a fully loaded, semi-automatic, high-capacity barn cat, and we're going to do another video. Today I'm finally doing a video that people wanted a long time ago. Sort of a getting started or introduction to lever gun silhouette, but I didn't shoot lever gun silhouette. About a year and a half ago, I had the opportunity to buy a nice small bore rimfire lever gun. The cat is jumping on the table. There he goes. I had the opportunity to get a very good price, so I bought it. Nice gun. It was already set up for small bore lever gun, so it was a good opportunity. Snapped it up right when I could. So I've been shooting small bore lever gun for about a year and a half, just at my local matches, so I have some idea what I'm doing. And you're going to ask yourself, you're going to say, hey, wait a minute, you put on lever gun matches all the time. Yeah, but I don't shoot them. What I was doing, putting on the lever gun matches, is using that time as my time to do things like filling out paperwork, getting things organized, and doing all the other things that I had to do. So I didn't do the lever gun matches. Now I do, and it's fun, and we're going to get into that. Too cold out today for an episode of Coffee with Donkeys, I'll tell you. For whatever reason, it's decided to be April and cold here, which is weird because it was 80 degrees pretty much last week. It'll be 80 degrees again next week. Today it's, we had a freeze warning and it might get up to 50. Kind of ridiculous, but that's what happens. So we're talking about lever gun silhouette. And if you're not from the United States, you're probably asking yourself, what the hell is he talking about? Lever gun silhouette. Classic, maybe a little old-fashioned, lever action rifles. Now, if you're not from the United States or North America, you might have no idea what I'm talking about, lever gun silhouette. We're talking about using very traditional lever action firearms, and they're not all lever action. We'll get into that. I'm going to put a link to the rule book, NRA rule book at the bottom, in the notes section here on the video. It gets a little confusing. It gets into the weeds. It's really not that bad, but I'll try to explain it. Small bore, 22 long rifle, 22 short, 22 long. You could use all of those in rimfire small bore silhouette. You're going to divide your lever action silhouette, which I at any time could use the term cowboy lever action. That was the name of it for so long, and the name that so many of us use is cowboy silhouette. But what it is, now it's called lever action silhouette. There's 3 different types. Small bore, which shoot on half-scale targets, which I did in a previous video. I can roll some of that in now. That's a note to myself. So small bore lever action guns. In the rule book, we'll get into that in a minute, is any tubular fed gun. So it could be a lever action, it could be a semi-auto. There are semi-auto rimfire guns that can also shoot that. So lever action, small bore. Lever action, pistol caliber. Pistol caliber shoots on a thicker, heavier target. It is normally going to be straight-walled, traditional pistol caliber ammunition. So generally a larger bullet. Now you could cross over and shoot pistol caliber silhouette with a rimfire 22 long rifle. There's going to be a lot of targets you're not going to knock down because they're heavier. Now if you went to 22 Magnum, which is also rimfire, a larger cartridge, shooting the bullet faster. You can't use that on small bore rifle silhouette because the targets are too thin, you'd wreck them. But you can certainly use that on pistol caliber. All your popular old-fashioned straight wall pistol caliber cartridges are going to be for that sport. Now there's also centerfire or high power lever gun, which is shot on full-size targets, just like full-sized rifle silhouette, full-sized hunter silhouette. They're just at shorter distances because this is an iron sight sport. Well, iron sight may not be the best word for it. Non-magnified. Most people are using some sort of a peep sight setup. Don't get too, if you're just getting started, don't get too worried about that. You could just take an off-the-shelf rifle, which is what's so great about this sport. You can take an off-the-shelf rifle. You can take something out of the closet that you already have. With buckhorn sights, you can shoot just fine. It's nice if you're an older guy like me whose eyesight is going to have peep sights. It gets you a fine, a fine click up. The same clicks every time, back and forth. Same techniques you're going to put into doing this as you do with scoped rifle. Scoped rifle silhouette on the small targets are what most people around the world are used to. This is half-scale targets. All right, just wanted to put that gun down so I'm not holding it the whole time I'm trying to talk. Same techniques that you're going to use, the same type of practice, the same type of, we're always still offhand, we're not on the damn bench. We're offhand, we're shooting standing up. You're shooting at a larger target, a half-scale target, rather than the little 1/5. You're shooting at a half-scale target. But don't get into the concept that maybe this is easy because you're shooting the bigger target. You're shooting it without any magnification, just your eyes and a non-magnified sights. So it's still difficult. Now this lever gun silhouette sport is very popular in the United States. I'd say it's almost as popular or maybe even more popular than traditional bolt-action rifle silhouette with a scope on the small animals. I don't know why it's so popular. It's certainly really fun. I think a lot of the popularity comes from the concept that you're using maybe a traditional type of firearm, which interests a lot of people. You're shooting at a bigger target, but don't fall into the misconception that it's easier. I think some people may be more comfortable with the bigger targets. It isn't any easier, it's just as hard. Maybe a small percentage easier sometimes, but not really. All right, now some of the differences between lever gun and what I'll call small bore silhouette, what most of the world is going to be used to as silhouette. You're going to get a different start time, your prep time. When they say, shooters to line for your next bank of animals, ready. Okay, your ready time in lever gun is going to be 30 seconds, not 15. It's going to be 30, because you need to be able to load those 5 rounds into a tubular magazine. You're not just slapping a magazine up. You're not single loading, so it takes a little more time. Now, when the fire period begins, you only have 2 minutes. That's it, 2 minutes. So you have 30 seconds less than traditional, or you have 30 seconds less than your regular small bore silhouette or your high power silhouette, which are 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Most people, when they're shooting lever gun that I've observed, 2 minutes is more than enough time. They usually have time to fire off their 5 rounds slowly, carefully. It's silhouette. We're always going to go. Going slow wins the game. Trust me. Taking the time wins the game. But they usually have no problem getting off their 5 rounds, no matter if it's windy or whatever the weather conditions can be. They have enough time to rest in between, fire off their 5 rounds. They're already keeping score by the time I need to hit that button and say that the time period is up. I'm going to roll in video of the match going on to get an idea of what we're doing. There's no need for an hour-long video about how this works. It is silhouette. It's just a different form of silhouette. That's one of the great things about silhouette, rather than some of these other newfangled sports, if you want to call them that. Silhouette is 100 years old, actually more than 100 years old. So if you teleport a silhouette shooter from 50 years ago or 100 years ago into this time, they know exactly what you're talking about. The rules are basically the same. There's a little minor things that change from time to time, but they're going to know what you're talking about. Silhouette is not a sport that is made up by somebody at a marketing company who's trying to find a way for the different gun manufacturers to sell more stuff. Let's come up with a new fancy sport where everybody's going to have to buy another rifle and another big scope, and it's a whole different set of rules, and it'll be great for 5 years, and then it'll disappear, and everybody will still have all their stuff that they bought. Silhouette's not like that. Silhouette's very traditional. It's been the same for a long time. You've got a similar course of fire where you're shooting 5 animals, a bank of 5 animals in that time period with 5 rounds. And we'll get into that in a second about 5 rounds on the table. That's important. I got to remember that. You take a quick break. You're back onto the clock again. 5 more. Then you're down, everything in, chamber indicator in, dial your sights up to the next set of animals, whatever the next set that you're going to walk over to. The system repeats itself until you shoot a round of 40. It's going to be exactly what you're used to in shooting silhouette. It's just a different target, different type of rifle. Now, real quick, we can do the distances on the silhouette targets. Just in case you're not sure, just in case you don't feel like downloading that rule book and looking it over and seeing what it's like. I'm really hoping by doing a little video on this, maybe more people, not just in North America, maybe see the lever gun silhouette, maybe think it's a great idea, and maybe you can adapt that where you are. That's a hint. First bank of animals is going to be chickens, 40 meters, pigs, 50 meters, turkeys, 75 meters, rams at 100 meters. Now, of course, in Tennessee, I can't go, at my range, we can't go to 100 meters yet, so we're at 100 yards for rams. But, just so you know, so you don't, you don't try to fact check me. Oh, you don't go to 100 meters, you go to 100 yards. Yeah, I know, and I let everybody know that when they get there. It's just, you're going to find a lot of ranges in the United States may have those same distances marked out in yards. You need to find out where you are. They may work in yards because that's what they've always done. That's the way they've done it for 20 years. And they may have chickens at 40 yards rather than 40 meters. Got to ask when you get there. Ask your match director. Ask the people who are involved in the match. Don't ask the guy next to you because you don't trust just everybody. You got to talk to your match director when you get there. That is the biggest thing I think that I've learned going to all different matches. The biggest thing that when people come to my matches, they got to get in touch with somebody who's from that range so you know exactly what's going on before you take your first practice shot, and have know your dial-ups. They're just like any other rifle. Know your dope. Know if I have to change from yards to meters, I know to click down, get my chicken 0, and then I know what my dial-ups are in meters. Simple. Now, the 5 on the table rule, I'm going to cover this really quick, really easy, but it's really important to remember, and it is one of those things that will get enforced. And I've noticed it gets enforced more lately than it has been in the past. So let's try to keep up with that. 5 on the table, that's what I call it. It may not be what everybody else calls it. You want to have only 5 rounds of ammunition out of the box, ready to load into your rifle at any time. So you pull that 5 rounds out, you put them on the table, or put them in, I have a little holder that I have on the back of my little rifle rack, and then close that box up. Close that box up, slide that box away. We know you're not cheating. We need to make sure that everybody else who sees down the line, that Joe, Frank, and Harry next to you know that you have no intention of trying to throw another round in there. It applies more to lever guns that can be side-loaded, like in pistol caliber, like in high-power lever. But it is the rule. Do it with small bore. Match directors, make sure you remind people. Nobody's ever... I have yet to find one person who's ever done it intentionally, and I never call people on it. But I always remind people, I try to at the beginning of the match, 5 on the table, only 5, 5 out. Put the 5 out, close your box. Now we can go through basic gear that you need for lever action silhouette. Now I've got the example I've got out here is my small bore rifle. It's the only rifle that I have that is lever action right now. Now in that small bore rifle, that shoots the 22 long rifle cartridge. It also could shoot a 22 short or a 22 long, but I only run long rifle in it just because I keep it simple, stupid. I could, and I do, still shoot the pistol caliber cartridge matches with a 22 long rifle. A lot of turkeys I hit and they don't fall down. Most of the rams I hit and they don't fall down because they're just considerably thicker and heavier. That's just the way it is. Now, just in case we have people aren't from North America and aren't 100% sure what I'm talking about with a lever gun, I think you all do, but just in case, chamber flag, it's empty. I'm not that stupid. It's also rusty, you'll notice. I gotta work on that. But this is Mid-South United States of America, and it is hot and sweaty here, and I am a sweaty dude who's not from the area. And I'll tell you, when it's July or August, man, I rust up the rifle. So, lever action rifle, traditional. That's why we still call it cowboy rifle sometimes. Traditional lever action rifle. These are normally available when there isn't a ammo and gun shortage like we have right now. It's normally not a problem. They're usually everywhere, even at department stores in the United States. Tubular fed magazine. So that's where the rounds go in. I'm trying to do this on camera. Your rounds go in here, 5 rounds, close it up, Now, when you read the rule book, you're going to see that tubular fed magazine could be a semi-auto. Marlin 60, hopefully I get the model number right there. Tubular fed magazine, no problem. Semi-auto, perfectly legal, no problem. I mean, that's one exception to the rule in small bore. Some of the other things, now like I said, the small bore rifle can cross over into, the 22 long rifle, small bore rifle, could cross over into pistol caliber. Now at the same time, lots of pistol caliber cartridge lever guns are perfectly acceptable in the high power. Your high power, your rams are only out at 200 yards, 200 meters, depending on where you are. Perfectly hittable with all, I'm going to say pretty much all guns that would fit into that pistol caliber category. Now something like a 22 Magnum, it's a 22 Magnum rimfire, you can probably hit that ram. I don't think you're going to knock them down. I'm almost guaranteed you're not going to knock them down, because a full-size ram is heavy. Anybody who's reset those targets can tell you those targets are hefty. So the theory on the crossing over of rifles from pistol caliber to high power, I mean, you could certainly do something like a 357 that can also shoot 38s. Load yourself up. A lot of people who are going to do that are going to be loading their own ammunition, because they're going to be able to, custom brew it just the way they want. And you can shoot a lighter load on the pistol caliber matches, go to the high power match, shoot the same rifle, as long as you're capable of hitting and knocking down, and a 357 should be able to do it without any problem at 200 yards. I mean, the targets are heavy, they're not that heavy. So you could do all three sports with two rifles. I mean, no problem. Someday I'll probably get up to be doing something like that. I'm not there yet. I'm just having fun with my small bore rifle, and it's not the main focus of what I do, so it's just fun. I mean, it is fun. The one thing about the lever action silhouette is it's a blast. It's fun. I think that's probably the secret to its success, is it has a much more laid back attitude to it. The people who participate in it are still very focused on what they do, but there definitely seems to be, I mean, you see the same people who will transition from the small bore rifle over onto the small bore lever, and they're still focused and they still want to win, but they definitely seem to be a lot more relaxed. And I think that has a lot to do with knocking over a lot of targets too. I mean, this is a sport where you have to train yourself to be on the ball, mentally very, very focused, physically very, very relaxed. And that's that balancing act that's so hard for people to do. And I think that's part of the success of lever action rifle. All right, that wraps up the very basic details of how to get started, what you might need, the attitude you might want to bring to the line for getting started for small bore silhouette. So hopefully you liked the video, hopefully it helps. In the links below the video are the links for Metallic Silhouette Shooter Society on Facebook. Yes, you got to ask to join. You got to answer some very simple questions that you should know. That's just one way of weeding out the nitwits. But it's a really good group. It's a group with members who have far more experience than I do. And when you need to ask questions, they're always there to answer. If they don't have the answer, they may come up with a solution. Really good group. Almost 1,000 members right now, 928 members. I forget, I kicked a couple out the other day because I found some anti-gunners in there. Got rid of them. But anyway, good group to join. It's on Facebook, Metallic Silhouette Shooter Society. we're able to share information, share photos of different match venues all over the world. I mean, we have people from Russia, from Australia, from France, from Finland, from, Philippines, Indonesia, Ireland, England, lots of Canada, lots of Mexico, because that's where this is all from. Great group, though, really good. My Spanish is getting much better just reading some of those posts. Now the other thing is, I just started, and you'll notice there haven't been a lot of videos, okay, because I have a lot of stuff going on. Just started a Patreon account. I had the account for a long time. I never activated it because people were talking to me, yeah, you got to do this. I'm not in this to make money. I'm not sponsored. You'll see in one of the inset videos, I took and flipped the box of ammo inside out because I don't want, they don't need to have their name on here. I'm not sponsored. If I do get sponsors, I'll tell you. If I am trying to sell you products, I'll tell you. There are some products that I make, like the little loading blocks. When I sell those, the money for those actually gets donated to Tennessee Sports Foundation. We use that to buy, I've been using it to buy ammunition for the youth the youth programs because it's really hard to get ammunition. It can't come out of my pocket, so I've been selling those little 5 and 10 loading blocks. But the Patreon page, if you feel that this, the Silhouette Society Facebook group where we share all the information, these videos, if they help you at all, or if they may help someone else, if you think they don't help me at all, but maybe they help somebody else, get on there. Put in $1. We'll see how that goes, and it may give me the opportunity to do more videos. I am your reluctant Silhouette spokesperson. It was never my intention, but now, after almost 5.5 years doing these videos, it's kind of like people keep asking me to be the guy, and I haven't really wanted to be the guy, but no other alternative has arisen. Somebody's got to get out there and push the sport, and that's what I've been doing for a long time through various internet interactions, pushing the sport, trying to develop new shooters, trying to bring shooters into the sport from other sports, which is a lot easier than trying to get somebody to start from scratch. And I'm doing it, and we're starting to work on some more venues that can shoot Silhouette in certain places, and just spread the love of Silhouette. It's a great sport. It's a traditional sport. It's not a sport that's controlled by marketing interests. And if you can help out, hit the Patreon page, help me out. So we'll see what happens. Thank you very much, and get out there and practice.
We're on 4. Oh,